want you to look at Eli Lilly. Pull that up. How many shares are traded? 1.6 million, right? That's so far today. Now I want you to think about where have they traded. 800,000 have traded in the ADF. 200,000 on NASDAQ, 200,000 in New York, 100,000 on something called the Investors Exchange, 100,000 on CBOE, 100,000 on EDGX, etc. So, but 800 on FINRA, ADF, and 600 or 700 on other exchanges. Now, what is ADF? This is what it is. 100,000 have traded through Merrill, 40,000 through Goldman, etc., etc. Each broker is in the alternate display facility. You want to know where the volume is. You want to think about, okay, who's trading the stock? Is it brokers or is it retail? What do you think it is for IonQ and Rigetti? For Rigetti, it's mostly not the ADF, but even in the ADF, it's not institutions. I think Carvana is mostly institutions. I mean, there's some retail playing, but I think that the quant world, like hiring smart people or whatever, is obviously kind of part of the job, but there is a limit to sort of thinking about it that way. You know, there's a lot more to what makes a company a great company than people smart or not smart. Otherwise, groups of really smart people would be the most successful companies in the world, and that's not really always the way it works. There's smart and there's clever and there's driven. There's so many different, there's perseverance, lots of different things go into success. Not always just, Andy knows. It's funny because we want people to work really hard and stay late. But if we were optimizing for that, we'd literally hire I don't know, some Tibetan monk that can stand up for 72 hours straight with no water. That's not going to make a great company. And we want smart engineers, but if we really wanted the smartest engineers, maybe we'd do the craziest lead code problems or something like that. But those guys aren't always the best engineers either. You don't know anything about their work ethic or
partially filled.
Anything else. Their personality is somebody mentally tough and resilient. That's what you need for a lot of companies, especially startups. So they can be brilliant. They can be Einstein level genius. And then they could also have the best work ethic, better than the Tibetan monk. But now what? What happens if I tell them, you messed this thing up, and they quit in a huff? They have to be humble too. There's hundreds of dimensions that go into the people that make a company. But I would agree that the people make the company. The assets make the company too. But the people kind of make the assets at a lot of companies. Not all of them. Some companies have assets that are independent of the people. And the goal for the people is to make assets that live past just themselves. But what really makes a great team, a great group? Definitely not just pure intelligence. I mean, is somebody charismatic, especially if they're in a leadership position, but in any position? Is somebody reliable, dependable? Yeah, PHAR doesn't trade very often. And so if it trades on New York, right now it's the same price, $8.85. I don't know what you see on Interactive. That's what I see. But yeah, let me know if you see it again. I mean, right now I see it's the same price. I don't think Carvana is a great short, but I don't know. I don't know the company that well. A lot of people think it's a short, obviously. Yeah, what do you see on Schwab? It could be NYSE versus NASDAQ versus... I've been wrong on all my YOLOs. There's long Carvana that's been just a roller coaster. Yeah, D-Wave is juicy steak. Why it's up 14%? IonQ is down. Yeah, part of that is beta. You're talking about a stock that's gone up so much. So they have this depression drug. There's no SSRI revenue. No companies sell SSRIs anymore, so good luck with that one. All those drugs went generic a long time ago. Wow, Farcoin might break 30 cents. There it is, $29.99. I haven't really looked at Genmab in a while. Let's keep looking at Neurocrine though. They're guiding 2.5 to 2.6. Okay, so to hit that guidance... Okay, it looks like it worked. I think it's Parsec doing it. Parsec does this weird... Parsec is a great program, but I definitely don't want it taking over my Windows experience. Wait, so this is actually up here. Yeah, they're not guiding for much growth here for Ingrezza. They're basically saying growth will fall off a cliff, but they could also beat that guidance. I'm sure they've beaten guidance before. It's a pretty impressive commercial operation these guys have. I don't know much about Ilya's company. When we see these valuations, we see these big rounds, we sort of wonder like what's going on. But like if you're not in the room seeing the product or seeing what's going on, then you just don't know what they're actually doing. They could be doing something amazing. Yeah, I mean, ultimately Ingress is going to go generic. Yeah, I'm trying to sell some Rigetti and IonQ, but it keeps slipping away. Sometimes that's not the worst thing. But the uptick roll is pretty annoying. They should do away with the uptick roll, I think. Wow, Bitcoin's 94K. That's risk off. Risk off is, I think it's good. S&P's still up, Nvidia's hanging in there too. 𝗏𝗏's made a lot more money than Nancy Pelosi. Oh yeah, if you're following Nancy Pelosi, if you know Nancy Pelosi but you don't know 𝗏𝗏, oh no, you're not gonna make it. You're not gonna make it, buddy. Pack your bags. Think a politician's got alpha? Oh boy. Oh boy. I'll look at ACHR at some point. Magellan is a lot cooler. Do not buy SMC, I don't think. What do I know? I've traded that stock all wrong. I shorted some earlier. It's not going well. No, I don't think she's getting any alpha from insider trading. That's the theory the idiots have. You can't really do that. By the way, it's against the law. It's insider trade. The only exception is if it's on government business. And it has to be like explicitly related to government business. Because people have gone to jail. Congress people have gone to jail for insider trading. Yeah, there's 1,000 professionals you could follow that are a lot richer than Nancy Pelosi with a lot better track record. It's just a stupid meme. But it's good for me because I can tell who's an idiot. I don't have to even worry about talking to that person anymore. Yeah, I've never insider traded myself. It's not particularly attractive. Yeah, but you got JJ. There's not that many people that. There's a lot of people on Wall Street that have made way more money than that. These guys have made billions of dollars trading that you can follow right now. I like IVVD at the right price. Like all stocks, I like it at the right price. That stock price has gone up quite a lot. Oh, there's a lot of people who. No, there's a lot of billionaires. A lot more than that. There's a lot of billionaires you could follow. Plus, there's billionaires and there's people who made billions for funds as well. There's both. 𝗏𝗏, Ackman. I mean, there's so many. Tiger. Most of the time, if you're making billions trading, you're making billions for yourself too. I don't manage money for other people, and how do you know I'm not making billions as an entrepreneur? I don't think either company is fraudulent per se. They're both trying hard to make quantum computers. They're both got a lot of smart people. There's nothing wrong with that per se. It's just the valuations that are too high. I mean, these are perfectly good companies, from a structural perspective. They're just not good investments. Trading, working at any big bank is a good experience. Always a good experience. I'm not bullish on Bitcoin. I'm bullish on Bitcoin relative to meme coins. So you can buy Bitcoin and short meme coins, but I'm not necessarily sure I would buy Bitcoin in isolation. Yeah, I don't follow that stock. ANAT. Arista. Yeah. Investor tier list for VCs or public? I mean, tier list is sort of like self-explanatory in a way. The modern day Berkshire is kind of, not a great thing to say. Yeah, better than usual. I didn't particularly press it, but I kind of grew the balance sheet a bit. So if it goes down more, I make a lot more now. Leveraged up a little bit, I guess. But I added calls. So we'll see. I think it's going to be a rough week for quantum, just as, it was last week, kind of. No, cheeky, because it gives me more leverage, but there's a lot of ways to look at discount rates. It's pretty important. It's kind of the fundamental question of finance. Yeah, I wouldn't look at moving averages. I'm sure they provide too much information or value. Yeah, I don't really pay attention to moving averages or technical analysis, but if that's what you like to do, that's what you like to do. I do think the quantum hype is over, I could be wrong, though. These stocks have been very tough to corner. I'm not sure. I think usually when the p-values are like that, it's largely because there's not much of an effect. And this drug's effect looks fairly weak. But I want to get that data and peruse it a little more closely. I don't know about the Pershing Square deal. I'm not sure. I don't know if Ackman has the expertise to do private equity. Maybe he does. It's a weird business. It's not like hedge funds.
Yeah, a while back, Ackman did a thing called Floating University. It's gone, but I think if you try hard enough, you can still find the videos. And he just talked about the basic stuff, like I talk about, nothing too, but real beginner. Floating University, yeah. It's been dead a while, but I think you can still find the original videos. It's Guggenheim Partners, and there's Guggenheim Capital. I assume it's the same thing. Klarman didn't close up shop, no. Unless the news came out today, no. Okay, so they're mostly a fixed income firm. I didn't know that. I mean, I think that's kind of fair. I don't know. To me, it depends on how much work you do. I mean, if you're just a shareholder, it's a little bit of a weird ask. You should give me 1% of your market cap every year. For what? What am I doing? I wish every stock I had would do that. Yeah, Buffett never asked for that. Buffett could have extracted so much out of Berkshire. The guy never got options. He never got nothing. If he used today's compensation philosophy, he would own all of Berkshire by now. He would own every dollar of Berkshire. Remember these stocks. Guys, remember how much these stocks went up, right? Like, we got paid around here, like when they went down into the 20s. So, borrow fees can go up, but usually it's a sign that the stock's going to come down. A lot of people won't pay 2,000% borrow fees, and that's too much. We don't have foreign markets yet. Soon, very soon. I wouldn't say just the pricing model. I mean, there's no great quantitative tools out there. It's also very restrictive to join. I mean, you should be able to just put your credit card in. I mean, what kind of company doesn't want to just take your money, But, they make you, it's pulling teeth to join it. Like it's some exclusive club. Could you imagine if you put a bunch of unnecessary hurdles to get a customer? Really, I hate it when a customer shows up and they want to give me their money. Ugh. In our pre-seed round, I mean, it's pretty small, obviously. We're doing our seed round now. That reminds me, I have to get some decks out. Some data. The coming credit event. I love when people ask me questions that presuppose some opinion. What happens if I don't share your opinion? Yeah, I heard about the new coin from Portnoy. Wild guy. Wild, crazy guy. I mean, they're just a lumbering company. They don't really do much. I don't know what Gilead's doing on HIV, to be honest, but they have an every 2-year drug, which is pretty good. Every 2 years is kind of solid. It's almost a cure. Sort of diminishing returns to keep doing that. Do a lot of people use Tradebook? Yeah, there's a lot of OMS software out there. Bloomberg generally isn't considered very good in that space. Most of their customers are sell side. Yeah, I mean, at some point, he'll do a Barstool token. I think that'll probably do well. If he doesn't rug it. He just enjoys trading these things and stealing, in essence. He's a sneaky guy. I don't know about that, because I think these celebs, in a few years, people won't remember. They won't remember at all. They'll say, oh yeah, did they do a crypto scam? Oh yeah, everyone did. Oh, whatever. I think some of you guys are slackers. You should be working all the time. All the time. You're surprised I'm still here? I'm surprised you're not working. Go back to work. Go. I'm watching you. I'm like Santa Claus, keeping a list who's naughty and nice, but I'm keeping a list of who's working hard. You ain't on the list, bro. I checked my list. I check it twice. Sometimes. My back hurt. Ow, my back hurt. Well, you know the principle. Gonna find out who's naughty or nice. I will trade during the day, but I'm not sure that means day trade. What do you think? I don't know. I really don't know. Trump loves it. Super micro. It's not a big deal. The accounting's not a big deal. Okay? They'll file their Qs and Ks, the K10s and the Q5s, and they'll file them. Don't worry. Well, value investing is... You can short as a value investor. Nobody said long term. When you invest, you want your trade to work as soon as possible. Right? You want your IRR to be as high as possible. I do think Hayden's in some trouble, but he still has some moves to make. Depends on how he acts from here on out, probably. You can ignore the macro, honestly. You know, it's up to you. You may not want to ignore the macro, but you can ignore the macro completely. I probably would never short Palantir unless it was like 10 times the price or something. I try not to short good companies. I mean, companies are compounding machines. So shorting the compounding machine, even if it's kind of not a perfect compounding machine, or if it's a little expensive, even if it's a lot expensive, eventually the compounding machine is going to catch up with you. You have to short. When you short, you got to find something that's really like fundamentally broke, not going to compound in your. Well, mostly when I bought Palantir, I don't know if you guys recall, this was like 75, and I thought it was expensive then, but I basically said, all right, I have to hedge beta. If I'm short all the quantum stocks, what stock is kind of crazy but higher quality, but still has crazy price movements? Oh, Palantir. The short requirements in the UK, that could be a quant short, that could be a fundamental short. GSK is kind of a dog, but I wouldn't read too much into it. Still thousands of positions. Great firm and everything, just... financial statements, there's one official source, which is the SEC filings. If you want to use software like Gödel or Bloomberg or CapIQ or whatever to retrieve it for you, that's fine. Depending on the software, you might find that ads that makes it slower might make it faster, And I think if you do this all day for a living, you want software that's going to make that process as fast as possible. Every minute counts. Think about it this way: 1 minute you could miss because you're busy clicking and futzing around on your computer instead of reading the SEC filing. That could be the stock that makes your year, that gives you the big bonus, that makes your portfolio, that makes you a star at your firm, That's the way I look at it. So you want to be as productive as you can. Companies you can look at in a year, the more money you will make. So the question becomes, how fast can you go? You cut out all the you're doing and just look at as many companies as possible. Now there are a lot of people in the hedge fund or institutional world where they're on the phone all day long. They're talking to the brokers will talk to you all day if you want. They won't stop talking to you. That reminds me, I have some old friends I got to call up. Yeah, isn't that the trick? Conviction. To size your trade up. It's tricky if you use any exotic instruments or leverage or something, you could have a lot of conviction, but you have the conviction in the short run or in the long run. And a lot of times the mistake is I have a lot of conviction in the long run, but I'm going to put the trade on for the short run. So, whoa, those are two different things. Yeah, you don't need, you could do it with 100,000, I think. If you can't do the timing, then, something like INQ or whatever, 5% position. Even if that's a high conviction position, just 5%. Goes a little bit against you, okay, it might grow to become a 10% position, worst case. You could even trim it a little bit at that point, but you're in it to win it. And you don't have to worry about timing the exact, my IV decay or whatever. All that stuff is, not even in the picture anymore. You just sit and wait and short it. Sit and wait. That's been working, obviously. I had no patience. I wanted to make a legendary YOLO run on YouTube, and I lost my discipline and went too hard in that trade. But like I said, I'm recovering, which is good. But yeah, especially after a big run, you tend to start to believe you start to think you're really, really good. And it's best to get a little arrogant. You think you can't make a mistake. I used to pray for times like this to shine like that. Oh no, my returns are still fantastic. Don't get it twisted. I'm that guy. Don't get it twisted. Don't you ever mistake me. Well, someone was saying, you're not, there's a lot of ego in this game, a lot of fragility. White fragility, Highest conviction longs, I don't have too many. Market's a little extended here. Okay, I'm Jim. I've mostly been working on my software more than stock picks. I can withstand some of these doubling and tripling. I don't know if I don't have to get it perfect just because the last NFT bubble worked out that way. Doesn't mean that this will work out that way necessarily. I don't use Ox.Fund. I don't recommend you use 𝗥.Fund. Don't even think about using 𝗥.Fund. I get that, 𝗕𝗅𝗏. Some things won't go to zero, some things will. What kind of pitch is that? I'll just learn from you for a month or two. How does that help me? You're pitching me something where only you win. I already have people to bring me coffee. I need people to do useful things for me. I don't know if my spidey sense is any good. I think we probably churn, quite frankly. You know, you still got really good pockets of strength in the market like NVIDIA, Palantir, Meta. And you got weakness like, you know, AMD and Google and the other ones we saw. Biopharma is doing just fine. People are bullish on the political situation. That can only disappoint in some ways. Feels like momentum is starting to get wrung out of the system, whether that's crypto or QC possibly, but then you have DJT up today, for example. So it's a very schizophrenic and ambivalent market. MicroStrategy's down, but again, some other bubble-ish is happening. So, but mostly it feels like there's a little bit of air being let out, like a little extra pressure being let out with a little release valve. Yeah, Ocklo is another one. Really good tell. But when it hits, it's going to hit all at once.
𝗬𝗏𝗘.
They want to be quantum computing, but they have nothing to do with it, really.
𝗬𝗏𝗘.
They've tried NFTs. They've tried
𝗬𝗏𝗘𝗙.
Internet of Things was really their big thing for a long time.
𝗬𝗏𝗘𝗙.
All right, I'm hitting the dark pools.
𝗬𝗏𝗘𝗙.
When you trade, you got to hit the dark pools first. Clean those out.
𝗬𝗏𝗘𝗙.
Then you hit the swimming pool. No,
𝗬𝗏𝗘𝗙.
I'm using Goldman Sachs.
𝗬𝗏𝗘𝗙.
Calling David Solomon up, putting my trades directly through him.
𝗬𝗏𝗘𝗙.
Calling Bear Stearns. Ace is doing my orders. I don't think we have 300K. Is that what SimilarWeb is saying? I thought BBAI was a short, but it's been mooning. A lot of people know that whatever they announced the other day was kind of fake. You can go look up some tweets that there was something that basically the contract that they announced the other day was not real. They either had already announced it or was some minuscule amount, or most of the situations like that are, it's not a fundamental situation. It's an imbalance between people like us that are short the garbage and people that want to buy the garbage for whatever reason. And we can't really do much about people who want to buy garbage. That's, if I'm giving it to my dentist, you know, I like this pick. 𝗕𝗢𝗂𝗢𝗓. No catalyst specifically for 𝗓. 𝗓 is not a meme. It's a drug company listed on NASDAQ. Come on now. You haven't been paying attention. I just looked into their financials. Farming, the Netherlands company, 𝗕𝗢𝗂𝗢𝗓. I don't know if I'll tweet about it or not, but so if I like it, but I'm not going to tweet about it, you're not going to buy it? But if I like it and I'm going to tweet about it, you'll buy it. Man.